Calls of the Castle, Part 3, written by Rickanddisgusting. What is this, Gabe? Ryan asked, despair dripping from her voice. I don't know, I managed to blurt out. Kane started crying instantly. I thought it was finally over. I want to go home, he blubbered. Susie just froze, a blank expression on her face as she tried to process what was happening. Is this part of the game, Gabriel? Dakota asked with a nervous chuckle. No, I don't know, I answered. I had no idea what was happening, where we were, or how we ended up here. Did we lose the game somehow? Scooter asked, beginning to panic. I hadn't thought of that. I had no idea what the consequences would be if you lost the game. Right then, the timer on my cell phone went off. I took it out of my pocket to look. The first thing that caught my eye was the fact that I had no bars and no internet. We couldn't have. We made it out in time, I stammered. Maybe we didn't play it right, Dakota suggested, trying to remain cool but failing to hide the slight cracks in his voice. Yeah, maybe. Maybe we've just got to play it again, I suggested at my wit's end. All right, guys, let's just get in a circle and… Gabe, Ryan interrupted me. What? I whipped around and I saw it. The castle was gone. Only the gate that we'd entered through had remained, and it stood there all by itself on the barren ground. I ran up to inspect it. No, I screamed. A few feet behind the gate, the ground just ended. I walked up to the edge of the cliff and I peered over carefully. At first, I thought that it was so foggy that I couldn't see anything. But when I looked closer, I saw that I was actually looking down on the clouds. I felt dizzy instantly and quickly stepped back. I did this. It was my fault that we were here right now. After disassociating for a moment and drowning out the others' hysterics, I came to a realization. I had to remain calm and be strong for the others. I had led them here, and I was going to get them out again. That thought gave me back my focus. I tried to regain my resolve and I spoke up. The only way out is through, probably. Let's just start walking straight ahead and we're bound to reach civilization sometime. You should have let me take the food, was the first thing that Susie said. I'm sorry, Suze, I replied. I'll make it right. I'll get you out of here. You heard the man, Dakota said after a while. Let's go, guys. We walked towards the edge of the swamp in silence. All that could be heard was Kane softly sniffling from behind me. The putrid smell of decaying matter filled my nostrils as we got closer. I don't see a way around, Susie whined while pinching her nostrils shut. Do we actually have to go through this? Ryan asked in a huff. It seems like it, Dakota answered, while letting out a sigh. The big pool of foul water was filled with tall trees sprouting out of it. There was no ground to see in any direction, only a big open area ahead where we could move through the sludge. I'll go check and see how deep it is, I offered as I walked up to the edge. Ryan walked with me despite her obvious distaste. I stepped over with one foot as I held onto her arm. The ice-cold, murky water reached all the way up to my knee before my foot touched the ground. The smell got even worse up close, almost making me gag. The swamp gave off a musky odor, which could only be described as composting organic waste mixed with festering mold. Ew, Ryan commented. It's not so bad. I tried to remain positive. We can walk here. No, I'm not walking in that, Kane stated. You'd rather stay here by yourself then, princess? Dakota retorted. I'm sorry, Kane. "We have to go," I told him. "Fine, fine," Kane complied. I lowered my other leg into the sludge as Ryan stepped in next to me. The others followed closely behind, letting out sounds of discomfort as they went in one by one. The further we walked, the deeper the swamp got. I kept sinking further and further with each step until the water reached all the way up to my waist. It felt like I was walking through glue, the slimy water pushing me back every step that I took. You know those dreams where you try to run away, but no matter how hard you try, you just can't seem to go forward. We walked like that for about an hour, when it seemed like things couldn't get any worse. The clouds suddenly collapsed and rain came pouring down, drenching us further. The rain almost felt colder than the water itself, and it seemed like the temperature had dropped another 10 degrees. Finally, after an hour or so, I saw the end of the swamp up ahead. It was still about another mile, but now very much within reach. "Guys, I see land!" I yelled. "I see it too!" Susie exclaimed, her voice quivering from the cold. "Finally!" Ryan groaned through clenched teeth from just behind me. I used my arms to push myself through the sludge, gaining speed as I felt my drive return. I turned around and saw the others doing the same. My body felt numb, but the icy cold water didn't bother me anymore. Adrenaline made sure of that. The shore was getting closer and closer. My breath picked up and I saw clouds of condensation exit my lungs as my chest heaved. But I wasn't planning on slowing down anytime soon. Not until I heard Dakota yell from behind. That is, "Gabe, hold up. You're going too fast." I could faintly hear him say. I turned around and I saw the others were quite a bit behind. I could just make out Kane and Susie all the way in the back. Susie seemed to be struggling under the weight of her heavy backpack. I stopped in my tracks, and immediately the cold hit me like a brick wall. "Come on, guys, we're almost there!" I shivered. After I waited for a few minutes and made sure that they were getting closer, I picked up speed again. All I could see was the shore in front of me, and all I could think about was reaching it. As I got closer to the shore, the water subsided and I pulled my legs free from the muck. I threw my backpack down and I let myself fall onto the muddy grass and rolled over onto my back. I laid there for a while, catching my breath as the adrenaline wore off and the fatigue set in. Out of the corners of my eyes, I could see the others stumbling out of the sludge one by one and plopping down around me. "Hey, guys, where's Susie?" Kane asked after a while. "I thought she was with you," I replied. "Guys, look, she's over there." Scooter pointed towards the swamp. I looked over and I saw Susie was still in the water a few feet ahead, holding her backpack over her head. The sludge now came up to her neck and she was struggling to keep her head above it. The water had only come up to my waist when I was in there. Susie was short, sure, but she wasn't that short. Something was wrong. Susie's head went under, and for a few seconds only her backpack could be seen, until she went up again, coughing up dirty swamp water. "Susie, ditch the backpack!" I yelled. "No way!" she screamed. "All my stuff's in there!" "Hold on, I'm coming for you," I called out while running back into the sludge and trying to make my way over as fast as I could. Susie's head went under again, longer this time. After about 10 seconds, she came up again sputtering. "Hurry!" Kane shrieked. "Ditch the backpack!" Ryan joined in. "All right, fine." Susie yelped as she threw it away next to her and it disappeared into the slime. I was grateful because I thought that it might buy me some time, and then her head went under again. Dakota jumped in as well, immediately followed by Ryan, who was cursing under her breath. Susie bobbed up again and was now only a few feet in front of me. "Hold on, Suze, I'm almost there!" I tried to comfort her. No matter how close I got, Somehow the sludge didn't reach up any further than my middle. It already came up to Susie's chin. She was right in front of me now. I reached out to grab her, and right at that moment, she went under again. I reached into the sludge to feel around for her, to see if I could pull her back up. "Susie!" I called out, even though I knew that she couldn't hear me. Dakota and Ryan caught up and were right beside me, frantically feeling around in the water. After a few minutes, Dakota let his arms fall to his sides. He was clenching his jaw tightly. Tears were welling up in his eyes. I ignored it and kept searching. I didn't want to give up. I still believed that she would come up again, and we would drag her up to the shore and we'd make it out together. All of us. "Gabe, she's gone," Ryan said in disbelief. No, she can't be. It doesn't make sense. How could she? Look how shallow the water is. It doesn't make sense," I screamed. I think I could hear Kane screaming from the shore, but all I could focus on was the ringing in my ears. That and the guilt. It started from the pit of my stomach and spread out through my aching chest and into my heavy arms. It held me in place, paralyzing me. "You killed Susie," was the only thing on my mind, the sentence playing over and over in an endless loop. Ryan and Dakota were already heading back to shore, but I found myself unable to move through the sludge, even more so than before. Ryan noticed and grabbed my hand to pull me along. My legs carried me back to the clearing on autopilot. Kane was on his knees, hiding his head in his palms. Muffled sobs could be heard coming from his direction. Scooter put the hood of his sweater up and pulled the drawstrings to hide his face. I expected someone, anyone, to say something, to acknowledge what had just happened, to start yelling at me, anything, but it remained completely silent except for Kane's sobs. The clouds slowly dissipated and made way for a clear blue sky. "We have to keep going," I heard myself say hoarsely. It was all that I could manage to get out. I shuffled through the grass, straight ahead. "I don't think that we should follow him blindly anymore," Dakota said, addressing the others. "See where that got us?" There it was. "What's that?" Ryan asked in a dangerously calm voice. "It's just that I don't think that we should just do whatever Gabriel says, is all," Dakota stated solemnly. I turned to face him and looked around at the others. Kane wouldn't look me in the eye and stared at the ground instead. Scooter's face was still hidden. Ryan stepped closer to Dakota. "Don't you dare." She looked at me worriedly before turning back to him. "None of us knew that this would happen. Any of this. Don't you dare put this on him." She spoke the last sentence so softly that it was hardly louder than a whisper. "It's okay, Rye," I assured her. Maybe he's right." Ryan looked discontent, but complied anyway. "Fine." She turned to Dakota again. "So, what do you think that we should do?" Dakota thought for a moment. "Let's just keep following the path for now," he said. The clearing led to a narrow path surrounded by densely packed trees all around us. "So, exactly what we were about to do then?" Ryan asked, annoyed. Dakota ignored her as he pushed past me and led us into the woods and away from the swamp.